Okay, guys, we had a short break in the action here, and now we got top 8 coming y'all's way. Y'all definitely got to hear that southern twang going on right there. Okay, so our feature match for our top 8 round here, we have the 4 seed and the 5 seed, and we got Aaron and Joe going at it. Oh, excuse me. Joe's going to be on Riptide on the bottom here, and Aaron is going to be on Uzuri on the top. This is going to be a very grindy game here. So, Slip, we don't know who's in the finals yet, buddy. We're working out top 8 right now. We decided to do a cut the top 8 since everybody else had some time and wanted to play here. Everybody's just kind of like, hanging out today, so we decided to do a cut the top 8 here. All right, so Joe leading with the Dreadbore into an Endless Arrow and then Arsenals to set up a 6-card hand. Really looking to use New Horizons here, which New Horizons is a very good card, especially like New Horizon is a great card. Like I really like to see this card getting played. Orbitoclast is non-attack action cards. So we have non-attack action cards and we have reactions here. I'm curious to see him playing Orbitoclast over the attack action one here, over Spider's Bite, because Joe does play, like, Riptide does play a lot of attack actions in his deck. So we got cut down to size here. Gonna block with an E-Strike, and then we're going to block with a take cover here. Cut down to size says when this hits, if they have 4 or more cards in hand, they discard a card. So really pushes people to make sure they're gonna block here. Okay, double lace with Frailty to start the turn here. And then we have a Falcon Wing for 9. Wow, what an aggressive start from Joe here. This is like really putting the pressure on right here. We're talking about 9 points with double Frailty to start the turn, which means both of his daggers will be turned off. Both of Aaron's daggers will be turned off, but more importantly, anything from his arsenal is not going to work out for him. Okay, so he's going to block 9 here. And then we got Endless Arrow for 4. Okay, so got a 2 block in his hand here. Not looking too great at covering up the Endless Arrow here. I guess he could give a card and Crown of Providence here if he wanted to, but 2 block looks like it's kind of biting him here a little bit. I wonder if it might have been worth it for Aaron to take 3 points of damage to be able to throw the Erase Face. Okay, so he has a Death Touch here, which is going to come in for 6 because he was able to cover up the Frailty hits. Now, he did give Joe his Endless Arrow back, so we know that Joe has an Endless Arrow in his arsenal here. Trench does give Joe the ability to be able to get rid of any arsenal cards that are face down that he doesn't want here. Pitching Erase Face to come in with Death Touch for 6 is pretty good. Okay, so Joe's requesting to have a take back here. He wants to block with a card before he passes here. So he's only wanting to use one of his traps here, I imagine, is what we're going for. No, it's just a take cover. So if he had a face-up card, take cover would be really good at being able to reload his arsenal there. Trench, activate Dreadbore, come in with Remorseless for 6. Remorseless for 6 with no D-reacts from arsenal. I kind of think that I would have thought that maybe Joe wanted to play the Heat Seeker for 6 there so that he would have the ability to have up to 5-card hand moving in the next turn. But if he does have a card face up in his arsenal off the Heat Seeker, he is forced to play that card because he can no longer activate his Trench. So maybe that's what Joe was going for here. Okay. So we're seeing Aaron give 3 cards there. Interesting that he's playing Pummel in his Uzuri list. That's super spicy. That is like super spicy. I honestly love to see something like that. That's crazy. Hey, Caleb, what's up, dude? Gonna watch a little bit of top 8, man? All right, so we get Drill Shot and Perch Grapplers here. Joe wants to keep his hand. Something tells me this game is going to go the distance, guys. Like, this game is going to be a grind fest here. Like, when they went to, so Aaron and Joe actually played, in the Swiss rounds, and they said that the game came down to Joe had actually been fatigued by Aaron, and Joe killed him with like his last trap that he had in his hand. He actually killed him with the last trap that he had. That all he had to do was like just sit and just wait, and he would have been able to win the game. But so I'm curious to see if this one goes the distance this time as well. Okay, Frailty Trap's going to put a point on Aaron here. Put Aaron down to 36. Pretty good. Yes, sir. Nice, man. I love it. I love it, dude. Okay, so we got frailties on both sides here. Gonna make whatever arrow Joe goes to get a lot worse here. But he does have to throw it here. I mean, Remorseless for 4 is not nearly as good as Remorseless for 5. Destroy this, put a card from your arsenal on the bottom of your deck. Okay, interesting. So he does have access to a one-time use of getting rid of a face-up card here. Caleb, I'm glad you had a good time, buddy. I've had a blast today. Today has been a lot of fun, man. Like, today has really been fun. Like, this has been like really cool to you know, be able to watch people play and like see some of the games that have been played. Like, it's been a lot of fun to like watch everything today. I've really enjoyed it, man. So Joe's going to be able to ponder and set up another 5-card hand here. Joe also making the top 8 on the on Riptide today, which is like really interesting to me. Okay, so Aaron uses Tunic to throw his Death Touch from Arsenal that he got off a Codex. Joe gives 2 arrows to block out here, and then he's going to activate. Okay, interesting. So he activates the Dreadbore, trenches after it resolves, and then plays Codex here. Really interesting play. You got hard countered by Dreadbore. I mean, yeah, if you're not ready for Dreadbore, Caleb, it can be a real problem, man. Like, it can really do a lot of work here. Dreadbore is actually like one of the more interesting weapons in the game, in my opinion. Like, it has a lot of like cool text and does some pretty fun things. So like, I'm always like really intrigued to see people playing it here. Like, it's really neat. Okay, so Joe does not push through any points of damage, it appears. Still 37-36. This is going to be a long match, guys. Hope you guys are ready for a long one here. So we're going E-Strike for 7. I love that both decks just possess the ability to block and still put pressure on their opponent. Like, just forcing cards out of each other's hands back and forth is really neat. Tar Pit Trap nor the Take Cover getting any points through there. We're just looking at blocking up the 7 from the E-Strike. Aaron currently 3 cards ahead in deck, but we got a long game to go here. Okay, this is going to be Searing Shot for 8. On hit Ponder, on hit lose a life. So looking to like really push some damage here. Searing Shot, a very aggressive arrow. Yeah, Caleb, Dreadbore can like really catch you if you're not ready for it, man. I have been there for sure. It is something that can definitely catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. Okay, so Aaron blocking 3 and then giving the Fate Foreseen here. So he's going to take 2 life and give Joe a 5-card hand. I'm curious to see what cards he kept. Okay, so he decides he wants to throw a Commanding Conqueror and then Arsenal a card. Joe does have the ability to play around this with Trench here if he decides to. Oh, you surprised Silas? I mean, I don't think anybody was really ready for Great Axe Story today, man. Like, I think the only matchup you probably would have really had a problem into would have been, I would imagine, Dromai. Also, probably, I guess, like, Dreadbore really puts a wrinkle in your plan. So, yeah, I could definitely see Silas not being ready for that. Searing shot for 11 is pretty good. So it is interesting that Joe went to 31 here to be able to use his turn. He just trenched away his card and took 6 to 31. And then sink below from Arsenal to cover this up. I think this is a pretty good like turn cycle for both players. Like Aaron not taking any damage here and Joe like really being able to like swing a lot of tempo his direction. Oh yeah, I'm sure that Dreadboard just killed, like, you probably play a lot of D-Reacts, I imagine, in your list, Calum. I love throwing Bolt and Shot for 5 with Dreadboard. Like, this is like such a, like, there's so much value in this line, in my opinion. Okay. Unmovable from Arsenal to cover this up. Man, Unmovable from the Uzuri deck. Wow. Can say I did not see that coming. Okay, this is going to be Endless Arrow for 7. No D-Reacts from Arsenal or hand because of Dreadbore and Release Attention. Now, Release Attention was really just played as a +3 here to be able to reload his Endless Arrow without having to use Bullseye Bracers. Honestly, Riptide's ability is so insanely good. Like, Riptide's text is just, there's so much value in Riptide's text. Guys, thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate you guys being a part of our first Talishar tournament here. I know I've said this a couple times, but man, I've had a lot of fun today. Everybody who hung out and watched today, you know, I know that it was a very different stream from, like, you know, normally what we're up to here. So I appreciate you guys being here. You know, it really means a lot. You guys watching today. Like, we've had a, you know, a really good amount of viewers today, just hanging out with us while we were playing today. So I really appreciate you guys being here. It's made today a lot of fun. Endless Arrow for 7. Aaron's really having a think here. Okay, he decides to go to 27 here. Joe goes up to 42 and down to 38 on cards, but has a 5-card hand because he's able to arsenal his Endless Arrow here. And then we got Tunic and Fate Foreseen going to throw our Already Dead. Makes me think he has a different reaction or a different card in his arsenal here. Or a card that he's wanting to arsenal. Sorry, I apologize. Like, he has like a Fate Foreseen, or like maybe he was looking to try and use Black Tech to, like, you know, give go again and throw a Codex or something potentially. I don't know. It's an interesting choice. Was fun to watch. Well, dude, Josh, I'm glad you had a good time today, man. I've really enjoyed putting it on today. It's been really fun. Cut to the Chase. Okay. So we're looking at Cut to the Chase. Already Dead gets a card off the top of his deck, and Aaron gets a silver here, which means he will be more inclined to use his Black Tech Whisperers at a point to give go again here. Okay, Endless Arrow for 7. Endless Arrow for 7 off of the Pox, off the Blood Rot Pox here. It's really important that Dreadbore is really forcing Aaron to arsenal his defense reacts if he wants to be able to block these breakpoint cards efficiently. All right, looks like Aaron's really in the tank here about how he wants to block. He's probably in the camp of, like, you know, I can't just continue to give you the Endless Arrow here. Like, the more he gives Aaron the Endless Arrow, the better, like, the worse shape he's going to be in over the course of the game. Because it's one card that Joe is just getting to repetitively throw and throw and throw and throw. The other question I would really ask is, do we think that Joe is running Rain Razors in this matchup? I'm really curious to know. I mean, Uzuri is dope, Drew. I completely agree with you, man. Okay, Aaron gives 3 cards. And I'm curious to see if he kept a defense reaction here just to arsenal. No, plays the Codex. Okay, so probably going to go get Leave No Witnesses. He's going to attempt to force 2 cards out of Joe's hand. If Joe likes his 4-card hand, he can take 4, lose a card, and then trench away his arsenal here. Yeah, Uzuri is actually one of the more fun decks to play, in my opinion. Like, she offers a lot of, like, really cool lines. Okay, so we block with a Boulder Trap and with an Intoxicating Shot. Leaving Joe with 2 cards here. 2 cards in an arsenal. We're going to trench away our arsenal here. I assume we're going to activate Dreadbore. No, we're going to play Premeditate, and then we're going to play a 1-coster. I wonder if this is Death Touch for 8. Oh, it's Codex. It's Codex to go get a good arrow or to go get a Death Touch. I'm not sure if he has Death Touch here in his graveyard. It's also worth noting that right now, at the current situation, Aaron is only up 2 cards in Arsenal. Ooh, so this is going to be for 7. I really agree with that, Lillian, actually. Like, playing against like Uzuri does make you feel like every time you do something, you're just wrong. I actually really agree with that. It's very funny how, like, that hero can make you feel that way. Oh, Oasis Respite. Man, that's spicy. Aaron's on some sauce over here. I feel like maybe I'm just always playing decks that, like, nobody ever plays. Like, nobody ever plays Respite into me because I'm always playing Fi at, like, competitive level, but I feel like Uzuri and Riptide are both decks that are very good at punishing their opponents and making them make wrong decisions at certain times. He said, I forgot Frailty. Oh, man. That Infinite Cards is Aaron in the chat. That's so funny to hear Aaron in the chat talking about how he forgot about the Frailty. I mean, Surgical Extraction for 3 is way worse than Surgical Extraction for 4. Yeah, no, I completely agree, Josh. There are a lot of mind games when it comes to playing against Uzuri. Like, Uzuri is a hero that can, like, really punish you for making certain decisions, because when you go to play around Shred, like, you know, like they have a pump, or like when you go to play around Codex, they have a pump or a Shred, and it's like, it's so hard to know what to play around in, like, every situation. Like, it's almost impossible to get it always right, in my opinion. Okay, so Joe lets the Surgical Extraction hit. Aaron takes Ravenous Rabble, and then we see Seek and Destroy into Lace with Blood Rot and Release Detention. Oh my gosh. We didn't know that you were playing Azalea, Joe. Good lord. Bolton Shot for 13 on hit Pox and Seek and Destroy. And reload, but there's no reload here. Block 9, take 4, go to 24. Another Codex here, but we have the Tunic counter so that we can go get our Death Touch here. Also, Codex also going to be taking a card from Joe this turn. Getting a lot of value right here, being able to take the card away from Joe out of hand, because it's going to force him to make a decision. Does he want does he want an extra token here, which could be really good? For Aaron, this could be like a really big swing point in the game. Drill Shot is what Joe chooses here. So 6 go again, and you have a Frailty going into your next turn. Man. This has been a really good game to this point. Okay. So Joe takes 6. Now, Aaron, what are you going to give him? Are we going for Pox here? Or are we going for Inertia? Do you want to, like, guarantee taking him off of an Arsenal here? Like, what are we looking at? Pox. Okay, we want the damage. We want the damage. I guess Aaron's probably sitting there thinking, you know what? The closer I can get him to 0, the more I can make him block, which gives me a better chance of fatiguing him. Aaron's at 22, and Joe has 24 cards left in deck. Oh my gosh, Joe just all gas, no brakes, son. Man, what a retaliation turn. Like, Joe just continues to just throw demanding amounts of pressure. Like, 12 points here. Now, it is worth noting that Joe is going to be at 17 after this. But man, 12 is so good. Yep, we get to block it out here. Okay. He can put his Arsenal card on the bottom if he wants to. Decides not to make that decision. Man, really weird hand from Aaron there. We had a Humble, a CNC, and a Race Face, and something else. What else did we block with here? We blocked with a Race Face, Humble, Already Dead, and Command and Conquer. Man. Like, really awkward hand there. Like, he does have a 5-card hand. He sat on his Arsenal last turn. He didn't play it. So now we're looking at 4 go again. I imagine Aaron's going to be giving 1 card here, if I had to guess. Like, you don't really want to block Falcon Wing, but at the same time, when you're playing these like long fatigue games, you can't just give up the cards, right? You have to continue to put on like pressure some way. Like, you have to block, you have to keep your life total up, and you have to find a way to attack a bunch. I imagine we're going, oh, he's going buff power here. I thought we were going to go draw a card to set up a 5-card hand, but Joe's looking to try and end the game. Oh my gosh. Red Unmovable from Arsenal, man. Aaron is packing some like crazy heat from this Fatigue Uzuri deck. This has been like one of the most interesting decks to watch play all day, honestly. And I say that, we've had a lot of good games today. There have been a lot of incredible games over the course of the day. Yeah, dang is right, Caleb. This is like... And the Eradicate. Manages to cover that up and play the Eradicate here. I would like to know how many hours Aaron has on Uzuri. I bet it's a high number. The other thing that's tough is, like, I feel like Joe is probably just not favored in this matchup as the Riptide player, because I feel like Riptide really takes its stride and starts to punish aggro decks. Like, that's where you see, like, Riptide really punish decks. And Joe has had multiple turns with, like, a lot of pressure. There's no way you can let this hit here, right? Like, there's just absolutely no way you can take 4 and go to 13. Because it's not the 4 life that's going to get you. It's the 4 cards that are going to, like, do you in. Yeah, dude, Omega Dude, I honestly completely agree. Like, I really would like to see his list. We're probably gonna ask, like, you know, if everybody wants to share their lists, we're probably gonna have everybody post their list in the Discord from today, just because I'd like to see everybody's list. Just because I'd like to see everybody share their list, but we're definitely gonna try and get like a winning interview here at the end of the day to like kind of talk about, you know, like what the decision points were here, like why you brought this deck, like if you were testing, if it was a known deck, you know, just kind of those points there. Blocks 4, okay. At minimum 200. At minimum 200 card. Like, I assume, like, he's talking about dollars or something. I love that Aaron's listening to the game while he's playing also. Like, he's listening to me commentate here while he's playing. All right, so Joe with a Withering Shot for 6 here. Now, Joe has done a good job of pitch stacking some pretty decent red attacks here to be able to try and give himself a second cycle shot. I'm curious to know if Aaron's just going to give 2 cards here. I mean, the Frailty token like may not be super important depending on what Aaron's hand looks like here, but Aaron really making it, he's really tanking here, really taking a moment to make a decision. Let's look and see if we have any other games going on right now. Okay, so all of our other games are currently done. This is our last game that we have going on right now. So we'll be able to get a recap of how the rounds went. You know, like what happened, and you know how did everybody's top 8 match go. Like to talk about the quarterfinals a little bit. Okay, so we're just gonna play the Oasis Respite here off the Surgical Extraction. Okay, Energy Potion, man. Aaron is on the sauce, bro. Why did Aaron... Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Honestly, that makes a whole lot more sense there. What did he get back? To Command and Conquer? Whew. And he's going to force Joe to get a card. Man, that is 2 times that he has gotten so much value out of the Codex of Frailty. Codex being dumb. Have we seen the block with bullseyes to give daggers a +1 for traps? No, I have not seen that actually, Riku. That is not something I've seen yet. That's a really neat interaction, though. So we can't trench away our card here, so he does have to block this out or decide he doesn't want the Falcon Wing here. Okay, gonna block with 2 cards from hand. Just can't help but sit here and think to myself that every time Joe is forced to block, it's just, we're getting closer to the end of the game. We're getting closer to, like, somebody fatiguing here, like... Throws the Falcon Wing for 2 go again here. And it's also worth noting that, like, while the card count is getting low, the life totals are still pretty high. And obviously, like, if we get to the end of the game and they both only have 4 cards left, if somebody can't kill somebody, it's definitely going to go to the Uzuri player because they have the daggers. So, I don't know. This is interesting. I think Aaron's just kind of taking a moment to evaluate his hand here and decide if this is... And decide if he has a card that he can block with reasonably or if he's just willing to take the damage here. Yeah, Caleb, I'm also surprised to see Uzuri playing E-Pot. I haven't seen that before. I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, so we get a pass. It's 17-17. Joe's going to Arsenal and set up a 5-card hand. This has to be Pummel, right? Like, after he's shown us the Pummel earlier, like, I'm pretty sure Aaron... Yeah, there's that red Pummel. We've seen 2 so far, and that's all we've seen. Like, this is just Pummel, right? This is... Oh my gosh, it's a blue Pummel. What? Defense reactions cannot be played to wreak Havoc's chain link. Wow. Feign death, huh? Ask my buddy Blake about that card. Man. Oh, that makes sense. Being able to, like, use that as a... being able to use the E-Pod in a Kano meta makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Caleb, I really like Wreck Havoc, actually. It's like basically like E-Strike, like... It's like worse E-Strike... Or, I'm sorry, worse CNC copies 4 through 6, basically. Wreck Havoc is CNC at home. Oh, man. 17-15 here. Joe's only down to 9 cards in deck. Man, what a game this has been. What a game this has been. I'm curious to hear about how everybody else's games went today. Bro, is that an Art of War? Bro, that's wild. I don't know why he didn't double Arsenal here. Honestly, I'm not sure. I would be curious to ask him why he made that decision, Riku. And hey, H4Z3. Interesting. I like that name. Is that a car or something? I'm kidding. But you can hit exclamation Discord in the chat. This is a tournament that we're running in Talishar for the first time through my Discord for everybody who hangs out in the Discord. It's something that we're running there. So you can hit exclamation point Discord, or actually if you're on oh no, collapsing trap looking to be a blowout for, oh man. Whoo, man. Also, if you're on YouTube, it's also, yep, there it is. You got the Discord link. There it is. Perfect. Yeah, we run one of these. Like, this is the first one we've ever run. We've talked about running them like once every like 2 or 3 months or something like that. It's designed to be something fun for us to, like, you know, build camaraderie together and become better friends, and like, you know, everybody just kind of like hang out and have a little bit of fun today. Especially while there's like kind of a dip before RTN season. So that's really what we're all going for here. But yeah, we'd love to have you in the Discord, man, and we'd love to have you at the next tournament if you'd like to play. We're trying to, I think we're working on when we're going to schedule one. Probably sometime in March or April, probably after the PT, if I had to guess. You know, just with everybody prepping for the PT, like everybody's going to be, you know, probably be just fun just to have one afterwards, if I had to guess. But they lose and can't gain names until the start of the turn. Okay. All right, so Joe takes 3 and goes to 12. The collapsing trap actually doing quite a bit of work right there to try and get some cards out of Aaron's deck here, like really making it interesting. Dude, absolutely, man. I hope you get to play the next one, man. We'd love to have you. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Drill shot for 7 off release attention. Now, release attention kind of just working as, again, another 0 for 3 here because Aaron doesn't have a card in Arsenal, but Dreadboard doing the work of not letting him play D-Reacts from Arsenal. I imagine, if I had to guess, Aaron's at a point in the game where he would give up 2 cards and Flick Knives just to not lose the point here of blocking, but maybe he's like, you know, I mean, it's a point now or a point later. And like with Joe only having 9 cards in hand, it's a point later. So just gives 3 cards, actually. Okay, interesting. Man, Aaron is on some spice today. Bro. Aaron is playing Artivore, Pummel, and Remembrance. Bro. Like, man. Now, we know that Joe has at least 2 more red arrows in his deck because we watched him pitch stack them earlier. So he's got a red Infecting Shot and a red Bolton Shot left in his deck here. Oh, 100%. Also, I like the name Hater Raid. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, like, Riptide is definitely a sleeper deck. I think that Riptide just can't beat Dromai. Like, I really think that's, like, its biggest problem. But, like, other than that, like, I completely agree with you. Riptide punishes a lot of aggro decks. I also just kind of want to take a minute and say that, like, this game has been played in a superb fashion. Like, both players have really shown, like, the strengths of their deck right here. And, like, I've really enjoyed watching this game be played out. Like, 100%. So Joe has 2 cards in deck. Man, I wonder if it's the same energy potion. I wonder if it's the one he pitched earlier. It probably is, if I had to guess. Okay, Death Touch to start off here. Yeah, Caleb, we were talking about the E-Pots earlier, man. I think that's really interesting that he's playing E-Pots here. Pitching Infecting Shot to come in with Death Touch for 6. The problem here is that, like, without, like, a Razor or some way to, like, really push this through, I mean, man, dude, if Joe's on, like, a 1-of Razor right here, bro, that would be wild. Absolutely wild. Nope, just the Death Touch here. Are you going to Arsenal here? He does Arsenal. 1 card left in deck, and it's that red infecting shot we just saw him pitch. Yep, now we're at the point of the game where Aaron's just going to start coming in with the daggers here. Push it in as much damage as he can. Man, this has been such a... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Orbitoclast and the Leave No Witnesses here. Now, Joe does have a Frailty Trap in his hand, I think. Play Feign Death only if you have been dealt damage this turn. The next time you would be dealt damage this turn, prevent it. Wow. What a, like, insane card right here. I mean, kind of like, you know, like, playing a little bit here to, like, you know, just to stay alive at this point, but, like, still, like, Joe, man, really, really using those cards here. Like, man, this has been a really good game. I completely agree, Lillian. Like Dromai keeps a lot of things out of the format. Illusionist as a whole, like Prism kept a lot of things out of the format. Now Dromai keeps a lot of things out of the format. I could not agree with you more. Like, it is definitely like one of those things where it's like LSS has to be really careful with what they give those heroes access to, just because of the certain heroes and classes that they do keep out of the format here. I mean, yeah, Rangers have very, like, traditionally known to be fatigued. I completely agree, Josh. Like, Lexi got fatigued by Oldhim. Like, it's a very, like, most of the time it did. Like, a lot of times, like, I mean, like, it really depends. Like, that was a very skill-based matchup, in my opinion. Oh, man. And he's got the CNC right here. Man. I have never, like, the one thing I will say about this game, I have never seen somebody use Codex of Frailty as perfectly as I have watched Aaron use it this game. The first 2 Codex of Frailties stripped a card from Joe's hand and then continue to put on pressure. This one, Command and Conquer, when you know your opponent can't block. Wow. What a game. What a game. Hey, listen, Josh, there's no shade being thrown at Rangers here, man. Listen, I was on the Oldhim side of the Oldhim Lexi matchup. Like, I had the easier part of that matchup, in my opinion. I had to block, you had to play it correctly, in my opinion, if you were a Lexi player. No, dude, absolutely, man. I absolutely love the name. It's hilarious. We used to say that when we were kids. Me and my cousins did, actually. So it's very funny that that's your name to me. Like, that's hilarious, dude. I'm all about it. So we block 3, take 1, and then we have a card in arsenal and a card in hand. I mean, it's got to be the writing on the wall, right? Like, Aaron's just crossed the finish line here. Oh, I think Joe wanted to reload and throw his arrow there, but he realized that it didn't have go again because of the frailty token. Man, what a match.